Yo, what's up guys? With how good the recent visionary rework has been for the game, it's very likely that the types of developers are going to drop another rework. In this video, I compiled the 5 most likely Shikais to get reworked in type. So before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. Alright, coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be Devil. The main thing that I really want to see get reworked for this is Devil God Fist. I feel like that move is really trash if you're not a Hakata user. Like, I'm going to be honest, it's super close range, you're barely going to hit it, and the only time you'll really get any value out of it is as a Hakata user, which does make it kind of one-dimensional. However, the other 2 moves are really nice. Like, the beam move is really fun to use, it's really easy to combo extend, you can also get a free Sonata flow off of it. The Z move, Demon Pot, is really nice. The main problem this move has is it doesn't have too much range, but for a rare, Devil is honestly really good. The main reason this is even on this list is 1, the resurrection sucks, it doesn't have a Segunda, so when the Segunda drops, it's very likely that the resurrection will get some buffs or maybe even a slight rework. And also raw cards just really don't have anything that bad or anything that really does need a rework. The only other thing I could think of is Shark, but Shark is just really good, so I don't know if anybody even wants to see that get reworked. But yeah, overall, Devil, even though this is on the list, I could honestly see this being one of the more viable abilities in the game. However, it just has a few problems that I think need to be fixed, which are the mode kind of just sucks, like it doesn't even feel like a mode. The X move kind of sucks unless you're a Hakata player. The grab move is pretty decent, it can combo extend into just about anything you want. The Z move is really decent as well. The beam can extend into the grab and then you can just start whatever combo you want, or you can extend the beam into like Sonata flow or something. I'll wrap this section up. I should also probably mention there are some gate kept Devil combos. Somebody sent me one, or was a true combo that did 2 bars to somebody. It was pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. However, if Devil does get reworked, or if the Devil Segunda ever comes out, it's very likely that we will see the resurrection and probably the base get changed slightly just to make it a bit more balanced while still keeping it good and fun to use. But yeah, overall, the main reason this is on the list, I'm not gonna lie, is just because I wanted to add something for raw cards. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, coming in at the number 4 spot is Judgement, and I'm not gonna lie, this is either like really busted to you or really trash. So basically, every single time you land a Judgement move, you build up a stack. The first stack applies objection to your opponent, and that basically just slows them a little bit. The second stack causes them to be slowed, and it causes them to deal reduced damage to you for a short period of time. However, I'm not gonna lie, the main issue with Judgement is the fact that the effects aren't really noticeable. Like, I had to literally check the wiki to see what this does. Another problem is the moves kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. So the Z move, which is like the javelins from the sky, it barely does any damage, it barely stuns, and its only real use is applying the objection status effect, which all that does is slows them down. Then the X move, this is like a counter sort of thing. So basically, anybody caught up in that like white circle is applied objection, and if they hit you, they get the second part, which is no lies in the course. So the second part makes them do less damage to you, and the first part just slows them down a little bit. Then the C move is actually really nice. So basically, you teleport behind them and you stun them, and it's also a guard break, and it applies objection. Like, that shit is really busted. I'm 90% sure they can dash out of it, which, I mean, yeah, that's like they should be able to dash out of it. However, if it wasn't for that one good move, there would honestly be no argument for Judgement not having been reworked sooner. The Bankai is also completely garbage, I'm not gonna lie. So the G move from the Bankai, this is probably like the worst Bankai move in the entire game. Basically, you just summon a giant auto aim gavel onto your opponent. I'm pretty sure there's also a bunch of mini ones that you could get, however they do less damage. And then the T move, I'm not gonna lie, that one is honestly not too bad. It's basically a ranged move where you just throw your opponent into the air and then you slam them back down with gavels. This does decent damage and it combo extends. However, for a Bankai, I'm not gonna lie, it's super underwhelming. Low-key, okay, a rework I could possibly see is that one guy from JJK, like deadly sentencing, but like as a true Bankai. That would low-key be kind of sick. They could have done that with the normal Bankai, but I feel like they're probably not gonna put that much effort into a rare. But like as a true Bankai, that would be low-key kind of sick. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Judgement in the comments below. I could be wrong about this. Maybe it's secretly OP, but I could not see it being that good unless the status effects busted. But yeah. Alright, the number 3 spot, everybody saw this coming, it's gonna be Compulsory. The only reason this isn't higher, despite being literally the worst ability in the entire game, is just because I can't see the rework being that really cool or that hyped. So I don't think the devs would specifically go for this over some of the other ones, just because I'm not gonna lie, those other ones are actually crazy. But low-key, Compulsory just straight up sucks in every possible way. Like, there is literally a 100% chance that in the future, eventually we get to see a Compulsory rework, especially conceptually, the ability is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember seeing much of the compulsory user in the anime, I'm not gonna really come up with any concept abilities for this section, just because I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to spoil myself or you guys on this. However, the ability just sucks because it doesn't stun long enough for you to really do anything. The T move is basically useless, I'm not gonna lie. So basically just shoot out like a web, and if it hits your opponent, it stuns them. However, it doesn't stun long enough to do anything, and like you guys saw literally right there, he popped a Zero Oscuris while I hit him with the T move. Like, it doesn't even interrupt moves. It's really trash. The G move is like a grab sort of thing. However, it's super closer, and so the only time you'll consistently land this is on a Hakuda build, and even then the stun is just too long for you to actually really do anything. I can't really see this getting reworked or like buffed stat wise and still being balanced, so like a rework is definitely in order, just so that it's still viable. Last thing I want to talk about is the vault, and I'm not gonna lie, the compulsory vault is honestly not that bad. It does have a few moves that are kind of lame. However, generally speaking, it is still pretty viable, so I don't think it'll be touched up too much, but the base definitely needs some reworking. I'd normally say, you know, comment below if you guys have any ideas, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't think anybody wants to be spoiled, so let's just move on to the next one. Number 2 is probably the current worst legendary in the entire game, or like maybe not the worst legendary, but like it's definitely up there. One of my friends says this is good. I think on Hakuda this used to be pretty viable, however it's not that good anymore because you literally never see Flower Hakuda anymore. The weapon completely sucks, the M1s are terrible, the crit is not the worst, not the best. Most people who know what they're doing are just gonna dash out of it. The only time you'll consistently land this crit is maybe after like the Unseen Blade and sometimes after Fast Fang, but even then I don't know if that stuns long enough, and you're probably just better off using something like Waterfall Dance instead of the crit. This X move overflow is very difficult to combo with, it just pushes your opponent back. The Z move is decent, and I have gotten guard breaks with it, however by itself the move kind of just sucks. And the C move, Seamless Petals, I don't even use in any of these clips because it's literally just giving your opponent free parry. The C move is probably the worst move in the entire game. I can't think of anything more useless than the C move on Flower. It's just that bad. I think Flower is one of the most deserving abilities for Shikai, especially because the character who uses it in the anime, Byakuya, is literally one of the most popular Bleach characters. Like, this rework would probably be one of the most hype reworks in the entire game, so I could easily see this being at the top priority list for the developers. It also easily has one of the hardest Bankais in the game, despite the Bankai not even being that good. Like, it's not trash, don't get me wrong, like Flower Bankai is decent, but like real shit, I could just hop on something like Ice, get a good Bankai, and get a good base Shikai. Like, what's the reason for me using Flower? Just because the Bankai is decent? The only people that use Flower that I know of are literally just Byakuya fanboys and some Hakuda players, but even then, like, I've literally not seen Flower Hakuda in months now. So yeah, I think Flower is just really deserving of a rework. It could be incredibly hype. And bonus, I want to give a quick shout out to this guy in suggestions who actually suggested a really good Flower rework, so let's go over that. So this is honestly one of the coolest rework suggestions I've ever seen. So basically the X is Overflow, it's still the same name, however this time it's a counter that damages your opponent, however you can combo extend off it, which is pretty valid. I think counters are also really busted in type Cell, so this would be a really good buff for Flower. The ability gets reworked into like a finger Sero type move, except instead of like Sero, it's Flowers. It's pretty sick. I'll leave the link to this in the comments below. You guys can upvote this or downvote this or whatever, just read it yourself. This, in my opinion, is really cool, and I hope it does get added to the game. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, the number 5 spot goes to Kiyoka. This is literally a joke of a mythical, and the main reason why this needs a rework is because I feel like it's super lazily done. The X move is literally just a TP that most people just block immediately. The Z move is actually pretty decent, however, it feels super lazily made. All that happens is your screen turns purple and you get to deal a bit more damage for a set period of time, and the damage is delayed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I could kind of see how that relates to Aizen, however, it just feels super lazy to me, I'm not gonna lie, especially for a mythical. The C move, the clone, is literally just taken from the Dagger Bankai crit. Removed a while ago, and recently, or not recently, but whenever Kiyoka did drop, they just added it to the Kiyoka Suigetsu base kit, and this move is super inconsistent. Either it will help you one-shot combo your opponent, or it dies in 2 seconds. For both Kiyoka users and people finding it, like literally just nobody likes this move, I'm not gonna lie, and it is kind of super lazily made, I'm not gonna lie. And the Bankai, I'm not, like, I gotta stop saying I'm not gonna lie, but the Bankai, it is not that bad, it's not that good, it's like a pretty mediocre Bankai, especially for a mythical. I think the Kiyoka Bankai needs a rework, and the Benihime Bankai needs a rework, bruh. Like, the only reason I didn't mention Benihime in this video, by the way, is just because like the base is really good and the Bankai is like, it's decent. But yeah, the Kiyoka Bankai needs to get a rework. Just Kiyoka needs a complete overall. I don't even think it should have dropped in the first place. Like, it just feels super rushed and lazy, I'm not gonna lie. Wouldn't be surprised if we got a Kiyoka rework in the future, especially because a lot of people are pushing for it, just because Aizen is a super beloved character, and I'm not gonna lie, Kiyoka is just straight up garbage in the game right now. But yeah, not too much more else to say. If you guys have any ideas for the Kiyoka rework, feel free to comment them below. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe so we can hit 9K by the end of the month. And thank you to my friend John for actually letting me use his account for the video, and goodbye.